In this video, we're going to be crocheting Thor from Marvel's Avengers. God of Thunder, son of Odin. Here's Thor and his little trusty hammer Mjolnir. Are you ready? Let's get started. For all of my amigurumi, I use a 4mm G hook. You're also going to need scissors, a yarn needle, 8mm safety eyes, some light pink for cheeks. We're going to use a skin tone, a light yellow for the hair, two types of gray, a lighter gray and a darker gray, black yarn, red yarn, gold yarn, kind of a darkish blue, and brown yarn. Ready? Let's go. Okay, so first we're going to start by making the first leg of Thor. Thor obviously has two legs, so we're going to start with the color gold, and in a magic ring, do 10 single crochets, or magic ring 10, also known as a magic circle 10. That's basically just 10 single crochets in a magic ring. Tighten that magic ring up. I don't like to tighten it all the way just yet. I'll typically tighten that up on the second round, after I'm done with the second round. That way it's kind of easy to do that second round here. And for the second round, we're going to be in the back loops only, single crochet 10 all the way around. And then here I'm tightening up the that magic ring and cutting it off. For round 3, single crochet 10. And then change to the color blue. For the sake of this video, I am going to be doing a quick color change that does leave a little bit of a not a seamless color change here, but just for time's sake, I am going to be doing a quick color change here. If you want to make kind of like a seamless color change, all you have to do is tie off and then tie a new yarn color on. So for rows 4 through 6, single crochet 10, and that will be in the color blue. Now for the second leg, we're going to be doing basically the exact same thing as the first leg. And then after we finish that second leg, we are going to be crocheting the two of them together. In order to crochet from one leg to the next, you basically just continue on the end of that round 6 on that single crochet 10. When you're done with the 10th one, you're going to single crochet over to the first round of the first leg. So here I am single crocheting there, and then I'll kind of count 10 around, and then I'll count another 10 because each foot has 10 single crochets, so we should end up with 20 total stitches in this round 7. Here I am just going through that second leg, and again, it's really important to just double check and make sure that you have the correct number of stitches. You do want to end up with 20 stitches in this row. And here I'm using a scrap piece of yarn for my stitch marker. You're welcome to use a regular stitch marker. It's just, for me, I prefer using yarn. For round 8, we're going to be doing 4 single crochets and an increase. Go ahead and repeat that 4 times. And once you're done with this round, you will have kind of a spare piece of yarn, which is basically from the end of one of the legs, and we'll use that to kind of tie together the hole that's in between the legs here. So here I am just kind of using this loose end to tie that gap in between the legs and just to tie it shut. Because we don't want a hole in Thor's legs here. So we're going to go ahead and tie that shut. You don't have to use any particular stitch here. I just kind of sew it randomly just to make sure it's shut there. So we're going to finish up the rest of the torso. And for the rest of this torso, we're going to be doing a little bit of color work here. So the stitch that I have highlighted, in the color that it's highlighted, that will be the color that you will be using. So we'll be using gold, gray, and black for the rest of the torso here. And again, I'm going to be doing quick color changes just for the sake of time. For a quick color change, basically, I'm just using the last kind of loop is in the next color. So here we're going to be doing 5 single crochets, an increase, and 2 single crochets in the gold color, and then switching to gray. And then we're going to finish up the rest of this round. Hi, I'm Michael from Knotmonster. I hope you're enjoying this video. If you are, please take the time to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you can be the first to see my new videos and new content. If you want to learn more about crochet or you want to see more patterns, I have an Etsy store. Check it out. It's knotmonster.etsy.com. Or if you want a paperback version, I do have books on Amazon. I've got books such as my Pink Edition book, my Balloon Animal book, and my Knotmonsters Potted Plant book. Those are all available paperback copies at Amazon. Just search Knotmonsters in the search bar. Anyways, let's get back to the crochet. So after we have stuffed the head, we're going to go ahead and continue on with the arms here. We're going to start with one arm at a time. We're going to switch to the skin color tone of your preference and start with a magic ring of 8. Obviously, we're going to be making 2 arms for Thor. And then after you make the first arm, then we will be attaching both of those arms to the torso. Then we'll set him aside and then we'll continue on with the pattern. So go ahead and make the first arm here. Now that you've finished both arms, the next step is hair. So basically for the hair, I'm using a light yellow. I'm going to measure out 40 pieces of yarn, and each of them are going to be 6 inches long. And how I do that is I take 20 foot long pieces, or 12 inches, and then I'm going to fold that in half, cut it, and then that'll give me 46 inch long pieces here. So you'll see here I end up with 40 pieces. You can add more or less, it's totally your preference. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to be attaching one of these one at a time around each stitch in between rounds 25 and 26, kind of all the way around the head here. If you want, you can add a second layer as well between rounds 26 and 27 if you want the hair to be a little thicker. In this project, I'm just going to be doing one layer of hair. And you'll see how I do it is I'll pull the yarn through, and then I'll just kind of loop both ends of the yarn in through that loop, tighten it up, and that's one. And we'll do the same on the next stitch, and then we're going to go all the way around the head, or at least 2/3 around the head. Obviously it's not going to be in the front of his hair, but we'll go all the way around, and that's how it's going to look like. He's going to look obviously bald on top of his head because we're going to be putting a helmet on there, so it's not always going to be looking like that, but that's exactly how you want his hair to be. Again, if you prefer it to be thicker, you can also add that as well. So now moving on to Thor's helmet, we're going to start with the color gray, and this helmet is going to be made in 3 separate parts. So right now we're making the top part of the helmet,
which will go on top of his head, and then we'll be making each of the sides of the helmet. So once you're done with the top portion of the helmet, we're going to be making the sides of the helmet. For the sides of the helmet, we are no longer going to be working in the round, we'll be working in the straight. So that means that at the end of each row, we're going to chain one, turn, and then start in the second chain from your hook. So here I am, I'm going to be making a chain. The chain is going to be for 10, and then I'm going to turn it. We're going to start in the second chain from the hook, and then we're going to single crochet 9 across. So you'll see here, there I'm starting in the second chain from the hook, and I'm going to single crochet 9 all the way across the top. And then at the end of this row, because we are single crocheting in the straight, we're going to chain 1, turn, and then go the opposite direction. So here we're ending, we're going to be turning around, and then we're going to single crochet 7 for 2 rows. So once you're done making both of those sides of the helmet, go ahead and sew those onto the top portion of the helmet that you just made. And after they're sewn on, then attach the entire thing to the top portion of Thor's head. And that will be your helmet. So now we're going to be making Mjolnir, which is the hammer of Thor, Thor's hammer. We're going to start in the color gray, and we're going to do a magic ring of 8. After this step, we're going to be doing a special stitch, and that's going to be 3 single crochets in 1 stitch, and I've marked it as in parentheses SC3. So it's going to be 3 single crochets in 1 stitch, then a single crochet, then 3 single crochets in 1 stitch, then a single crochet. We're going to repeat that for a total of 4 times, and you should end up with 16 stitches, and that's going to create kind of like a boxy image that we're going for here with Mjolnir, Thor's hammer. So after we're done making the handle, attach the handle to the top portion of the hammer, and then attach that portion to the body. The last part of Thor is going to be his cape, which will be in the color red. So this section will also be crocheted in the straight. And if you can remember from the previous thing that we made in the straight, we are basically at the end of each round turning and then starting in the second chain from the hook. So here we're going to chain 24 and then we're going to turn, and starting in the second chain from the hook, we're going to single crochet 12. After you finish the cape, go ahead and attach that around the neck of Thor. He is almost done here. Once you've attached that cape, you have finished Thor from Marvel's Avengers. I hope you really enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed making Thor as much as I did. If you did, please leave a comment, like, subscribe so that you can see my new videos. I'd really appreciate it. And we will see you in the next video. Happy crocheting, everyone.